Hey there riders, if you're looking for a beginner or small capacity adventure machine in 2024, there's a good chance you're considering some of the new options alongside the king of the category, KTM's 390 Adventure. But the question is, how do the new Royal Enfield Himalayan 450 and CFMOTO 450 MT stack up, and which is the bike for you? If you've already decided, let me know in the comments. So the Himalayan has received a huge update, actually bringing it quite close to the 390 Adventure by many metrics, while I'm expecting it will be competitively priced to undercut the KTM. Both bikes are made in India despite the KTM's European branding too, and it's fair to say that these brands have quite different approaches to their motorcycles. We've seen UK pricing too, and the base Himalayan looks to be about £1,000 cheaper than the 390, but I'm not sure if both those prices are right away. The CFMOTO 450 MT is a bit of a dark horse, running the 450 twin engine from their sports and naked bikes in an adventure machine that seems to tick all the boxes, even surprising in a few areas. If I had to guess, I would think the 450 MT should also be priced under the 390 ADV, both to drum up more sales and because CFMOTO tend to be very aggressive on pricing. Let's start the comparison at performance. I'm going to keep this as simple as I can. Tied in first place here are the CFMOTO 450 MT and the KTM 390 ADV, both boasting 44 horsepower, although the 450 MT pulls away on torque with 44 Nm to the KTM's 37. The new Himalayan isn't far off though at 40 horsepower and sitting in the middle on torque at 40 Nm. If I had to guess, the singles, which is the KTM and Royal Enfield, will have the advantage off-road, with the twin in the CFMOTO likely to be smoother for road use and high-speed touring. Also notable is the 390 Adventure doesn't yet get the upgrade to the 399cc engine we've seen announced in the other 390s, which will of course boost torque. Electronics are also worth a note here, the KTM arguably on top with cornering ABS and traction control plus ride-by-wire, although the only ride mode is specific to the traction control for off-road use. Royal Enfield also run ride-by-wire, regular ABS and a performance and eco ride mode, with that ABS able to be turned off at the rear, placing it in good stead but not quite as impressive. The 450 MT again sees ride-by-wire, Bosch ABS which can be turned off at the rear via a dedicated button, and also Bosch traction control. All bikes run a TFT display too, leaving them on fairly even footing with full LED lighting also the norm now. Moving to the chassis, we'll start with the seat height and weight, where the CFMOTO offers the lowest seat at 820mm with an accessory seat bringing that further down to 800mm. The Himalayan is the next tallest at 825mm, which can be then adjusted to 845 on the stock bike, with a low seat accessory moving that down 20mm for either of those measurements. The 390 Adventure in comparison is a lofty 855mm, and you can only bring that down to 830mm with a full lowering kit. It's not just a seat. That makes the KTM a little daunting for shorter riders, but it is the featherweight of the trio at 177 kilos at the curb. In comparison, it looks like the Himalayan is 196 kilos wet, with the 450 MT 175 kilos dry, guaranteeing a wet figure of at least 190 kilos, although I'd guess a few kilos over that figure. On the suspension side of things, the KTM again looks the most impressive, with the 43mm WP Apex USD forks offering both compression and rebound adjustment, while a matching shock is preload and rebound adjustable. Travel is a little shorter at 170 and 177mm front and rear with 200mm of ground clearance. That's most closely matched by the CFMOTO, which runs 41mm KYB USD forks with adjustment for compression and rebound, and a fully adjustable KYB monoshock. Travel is 200mm at both ends, but I don't see a ground clearance figure. The Himalayan in comparison runs 43mm Showa USD forks, non-adjustable, and a Showa monoshock with preload, both ends offering 200mm of travel and 230mm of ground clearance. Realistically, these setups are all fairly impressive, however the Himalayan does fall behind on adjustment. However, if they've got a good enough setup to suit the majority of riders, that may not be a huge difference. All bikes do also come with spoked wheels, with the KTM offering the option of cast wheels instead. The 450 MT runs tubeless rims, and the Himalayan offers a tubeless rim on the top spec option, which does of course increase the price. Wheel sizes are a 21-inch front and 18-inch rear on the 450 MT, a 21 front and 17 rear on the Himalayan, and the 19-inch front and 17 rear on the KTM, leaving the KTM looking a little more road orientated in that regard. On the braking side of things, we see the KTM and CFMOTO fairly evenly matched, both running a 320mm front rotor and 4-piston caliper, where the Royal Enfield runs a 2-piston caliper and isn't radial. The bibers on the KTM are known quality too, and arguably category leading, with the J-Juan options on the CFMOTO also still technically a second-rate Brembo. The Royal Enfield does run a biber caliper however, but the 2-pot seems a more laid-back system compared to the 4 on the KTM and CFMOTO. The rear brakes also look like they might go the way of KTM with a 230mm rotor but a 2-piston caliper, although the Royal Enfield may give them a run for their money with a larger 270mm rotor and single piston caliper. The CFMOTO is somewhere in between with a 240mm rotor and single piston caliper, and of course the specs never tell the total story with brakes. Obviously the cornering ABS is probably the standout from the technical perspective on the braking side of things, going only to the KTM. Looking a little closer at the bikes, the 450MT and 390 Adventure both run standard plastic handguards, with the 450MT and Himalayan boasting a stock rear rack. All run fairly light sump protection, with a standout for the Royal Enfield probably being those bars framing the tank and offering some level of protection there. I'm not sure they'd replace proper crash bars, but it is something. We also see a fairly road-orientated front guard on the KTM and on the CFMOTO, but the Royal Enfield appears to run both the lower guard and a taller style off-road guard in an interesting twist. The 450MT also wins on fuel capacity at 17.5 litres to the Himalayan 17, while the 390 ADV only holds 14.5. It's probably also worth mentioning, belatedly, that all bikes also run a slipper clutch. Obviously styling is going to be a highly personal judgment. The CFMOTO definitely offers the most Dakar inspired of styling packages in quite a futuristic vein, which the 390 Adventure doesn't quite match as far as elegance to my eye. I feel like KTM kept it a bit more dirt bike basic in comparison. The Himalayan, by contrast, is an interesting mix of modern and classic and marks Royal Enfield's first liquid-cooled engine and first ride-by-wire and ride modes. As far as production, the CFMOTO is made in China, the Himalayan and 390 ADV are both made in India. Now if I had to take a guess at which bike will be the most popular and successful in 2024, it'd hands down be the Himalayan, for the simple reason they'll be selling like hotcakes in India. I think I heard a £3,300 price there, alongside being a huge motorcycling market, meaning they'll probably sell more in India than the rest of the world combined, by several orders of magnitude. That's probably cheating though, as that is kind of obvious. I do think the KTM 390 Adventure will likely remain the safe choice for riders, particularly those who want an option that's been around for a while and has built up a reputation for itself and had any issues ironed out. The Himalayan in comparison is an all-new engine in a basically new bike with lots of firsts for Royal Enfield. Considering how important this bike has to be to them though, I don't doubt they've done their absolute best to ensure there's no issues. The CFMOTO 450MT in comparison is all new but runs their 450 twin engine, which has been available in various models for a short while, so it's a little more of a known factor there, and having also recently launched the 800MT, there's no doubt the brand has some experience under their belt which has shaped this latest offering. If Royal Enfield and CFMOTO pull some competitive pricing out of the bag for these new models, I don't doubt they can give the KTM a run for the crown in 2024, while each of the bikes is unique enough to attract a slightly different audience. If I was picking one of these three in 2024, I think I'd lean towards the Royal Enfield. I'm a little less performance orientated as a rider, and I really vibed with the original bike, and this looks like a natural evolution of that machine. Competitive, but still relaxed. But my sister owns a 390 Adventure, so I don't really need to buy one. I can just borrow hers if I wanted to take it for a ride. The CFMOTO looks interesting too, and I'm keen to see pricing, with part of me preferring a twin over a single. That might seem a bit unfair, but I currently own a Svartpilen 401 and a Ninja 400, so I think I'm well placed to hold that preference, having spent plenty of time on both, and particularly on the freeway, the advantages of the twins do come to light. Anyway, let me know what you think of these three options and which you'd pick and why. As always, stay safe out there, thanks for watching, and leave me a like if you've enjoyed the video.